What's up, otakus? It's your tour guide here. I've been, I really kind of wasn't feeling like going on today and reading comics, but um, I do want to. I mean, there's a lot coming up on the channel, and yeah, I mean, we kind of got a lot of things to coming up in the summer, as well as AAPI Heritage Month, and I just wanted to go on and create the consistency in terms of like my cadence, because I know this channel sometimes just kind of goes off the rails, and I'm like digging for books while I'm live streaming, and um so I kind of need to have a check-in, and I think, again, it's not like we're doing streaming every day, but right now I think Mondays and Fridays are working well. Um, I kind of feel like Friday and Sunday is the best. Like those are the 2 days I feel like I just like, one is just like right as the work week is ending, and one is like right before I head back to work. So I just feel like that interval works the best. But at the same time, sometimes Sundays are busy, and I know Mondays are, and I'm just kind of decompressing after Monday. So it kind of achieves the same purpose, but I do like going on Sundays, and I guess I'll just reserve Sundays as something to, like, sometimes we do weekend hauls, or sometimes we just want to pop on with other channels or other community members. So uh, for now, I'm just gonna kind of keep the Friday, Monday cadence and leave the weekend open for whatever pops in. All right, a few housekeeping items. Roger reached out to me today, and he let me know that the comics will be going out tomorrow morning. So he's completed um, completed his work on the books, and I'm so excited to uh, go over the results with him. So as soon as I get those books, I'm hoping uh, Roger has the bandwidth to jump on that evening. Um, but we won't know exactly when that will be. I'm hoping the books get here in time for because he's departing on a vacation to Europe, and I just hope like we're able to you know go over the cover the books and talk about the books before he leaves. Um, and I know how hectic and busy planning and packing and doing all those things for a trip can be. So if it ends up being a situation where like the books arrive and he's too busy to connect, what we'll do is we'll obviously receive the books, um, and maybe reserve time after he gets back from his trip. But whether we go on before or after the trip, we will cover the books, and I don't want to show off the books or do anything with the books without Roger first. And so when the books arrive, again, depending on when we go on with Roger, I will just kind of keep them. I don't want to I don't want any advanced sort of, uh, I don't want to look at the books basically until, Roger and I are ready to do that together. So, just really excited. Um, yeah, uh, it's been a good, it's been a good weekend, or I should say today, carrying over from the Easter weekend to today. I've been just getting a lot of sort of good, um, just good kind of good news here and there. We are also kind of making preparations for API Heritage Month in May. As you know, I am one of several community members that feature, again, we try to connect with AAPI members in the comic book community. These include creators, these include collectors, but really emphasizing that this comic book community, there's diversity here. Um, I think Asian AAPI voices and creators have been an integral part of the hobby um, for the past, 40, probably longer than that, 50 to 40 years. And so, yeah, I think, Namin Hyung and I, we started this almost 5 years ago, I want to say. It feels like, oh, man, it feels like it's been longer, or yeah, it's been about that long. Um, but we've had the fortune of just talking to so many great people, and this year will be no different. Now, I do want to share some news. Stephen Yu, who's the creator of Joan of Arc, uh, which is sort of like a, you know, um, sort of a cyberpunk version of the classics, historical figure of Joan of Arc. He does his own fictional take on the character, and the highly anticipated third installment of that series is going to be launched. So they're going to do a pre-launch event soon, and we're going to have him on this channel. We'll interview him um, and get his take on what to expect. And I think the actual, installment or sales of the third and final volume will go on sale in August. So they're doing all these sort of the pre-launch ceremonies. I think they're trying to get some kind of you know uh, registration going where you can get your kind of pre-sale copy with additional goodies. And so we'll cover all of the details of what this launch is going to entail, how you can take part, and hopefully get your early copy of the work. So if you've been following him, if you've been tracking what Steven's been doing at the cons, this is a great opportunity for you to join. Ask questions in the chat and connect with him. So we're definitely gonna get that going. We're also gonna, again, we're planning a lot of great. I don't have the entire uh, lineup of people we're going to be interviewing, but we'll check in with Ryan Odagawa, a friend of the channel. We're hoping to get a lot of the people we've had on the channel back, as well as feature more new voices, new creators. Um, Alan Wu, he has been just hard at work as a comic book writer, and we'll be checking in with him as well, see what he's up to. But he's going to be also an integral part of leading the API Heritage Month. He's going to be hosting a lot of these talk sessions. And again, he's the ideal person to be doing it because he's just, first off, well spoken. He, because he's in the industry now, he's picked up so much knowledge and really creating a name for himself. So I'm excited to see where this young man's future is heading. And it's great to see or just be a part of his evolution. And yeah, again, a lot to look forward to in the coming weeks. So stay tuned. It's going to get busy on this channel for me. But when we integrate everybody into this sort of group effort, it should be a lot of fun. And yeah, I think we're going to have, again, good, hopefully good participation, get people kind of amped up about API Heritage Month. API Heritage Month is more than just like going and getting Chinese barbecue or, ramen or hot pot. It's something beyond food, hopefully for you, although food is a very important part of our community. It stands this year, like most years, stands as a reminder that Asian Americans have been a key part of American history, contributions to society. And I mean, if you're a comic book collector, you don't have to really, the footprint of Asian Americans or Asians in general in the industry are far and wide. And so, yeah, I mean, this is a time to just kind of celebrate that. And again, we always reach out to Jim Lee. This is an open mic invitation. Jim, hey, if you're watching, I know you secretly watch my channel and is a fan. But yes, please, we invite you to join the conversation as our leader in in the comic book industry. Yeah, you're the goat. You're my goat. So just be this otaku's wildest dream to just connect with you and talk about your career. Because again, you mean so much to so many people in the industry, but especially I think people of Asian descent, creators of Asian descent, collectors of Asian descent, especially among the Korean American community, which I am a part of. So yeah, just thank you for being such a positive presence. And again, not only are you talented, but you've shown like your executive management skills. I mean, DC is really revving on all cylinders right now. And that is due large in part to your vision and execution of your vision. So yeah, thanks again. All of May's open, so please just pick any date. We'll make time. I don't care if you want to come on at like 3 a.m. in the morning. I will connect with you. Trust me. I'll take some days off work to do that. All right. With that being said, we are going to read a comic book now. And we've been continuing, and forgive me for my voice and all that. I've been dealing with some pretty bad allergies. And yeah, I think I'm getting kind of over it. It's not, I'm not as like congested as I was, but it's really taken all the coughing and, the phlegm buildup has kind of wiped out my voice. So I'm hoping you can hear me despite my frog voice. And yeah, we're going to read a comic book in my frog voice and I'll go from there. So here we go. So this is the comic book that we're going to read today. Adventures of Superman 502, Boy Meets Girl. Now, what's interesting about Supergirl here, she's Supergirl in this particular kind of timeline. But she's a shapeshifter who kind of takes on the persona of Supergirl. and again, she comes from a different, parallel universe. And she's kind of like, again, she's this like alien life form, shape-shifting life form that has like Kryptonian ability, like Kryptonian powers of super strength and all that, like much like Superman. But again, Lex Luthor from a different timeline molds her into what we see here. And again, she kind of, this life form kind of latches on to the identity of Supergirl. And so while she's not technically Supergirl, she believes she's Supergirl and goes about, her daily routine as like she's Supergirl. So it's just a weird kind of plot point. And I don't want it to be too much of a deterrence to what we're about to read, but it is important to note that because like she's not our conventional concept of Supergirl. It's sort of a more of a story convention based on this other, way they brought like an alien creature and Supergirl into this storyline because I guess they just wanted to mix it up. Sometimes writers do, they go along a path and they're kind of stuck on it until they can undo things. And so, there's lots of examples of that, but here is a prime example of maybe they shouldn't have gone so far with this, but they take it pretty far. All right, let's get to the comic book here. Tana Moon reporting from the Metropolis Bridge, where lives literally hang in the balance. Luckily, Metropolis can feel confident again when they say this is a job for Superman. Tana, is my headset mic working? Can you read me? Loud and clear, Superman. What? Leverage is lousy. Can't hold on. It's slipping. Slipping. Not. Hey, Metropolis made you look. Guess this shows those other three posers. I mean, only the real Superman could do bump this. Maybe, but only the real Supergirl could do this. Boy Meets Girl. Brought to you by the adventurous super team of Kessel, Grummett, Hazelwood, Dick Guzman, Whitmore, Frank Carlin. Superman, created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. The story you would have demanded if we hadn't thought of it first. Supergirl, hey, I've been wanting to meet you. Let me just put this down. We're dying. Dying. Oh, please, get a grip. That's what I'm doing. See, I'm gentle on cars, tough on crime. No need to thank me. It's what any red-blooded clone of the last Kryptonian would do. Sure, anything you say. Well, you could thank me a little. I wouldn't stop you. Was that high school stunt really necessary, Superman? Or were you trying to impress me? I was just choking. I was just joking. Get to it, love, before the boy fogs over the GBS cameras. We've got to add your we've got to add video to your headgear soon, dear. Yes, Lex. Lex Luthor would like you to join us for dinner, Superman, around 7, the LexCorp penthouse. Unless you have other plans. No, I never plan ahead. Supergirl. Supergirl, Tana Moon GBS. Are you endorsing this Superman over the other three? And if so, Tana who? Excuse me, but I'm sorry, I get all my news on WLEX. Gotta go. See you tonight, Superman. Yeah, later. S-Girl's sound bites didn't go over the airwaves, Tana. Technical difficulties, you know. Thanks, Gordon. Go back to the live feed on my cue. Eyes level, Flyboy. We got a show to do. Pardon, Tana. Is that a hint of jealousy in your voice? You wish. Saw the Superman fly by and wanted to meet him, so we just kind of thought we'd drive off the bridge, you know? Lois Lane does it all the time, right? Anything to add, Superman? It just shows the dangers of thinking and driving, if you ask me. To Bakish. The boy is my target. Yeah, the boy, not the TV set. I could have got 5 small for that. Easy, it comes out of your fee. I don't think so. It's just the cost of doing business with a stinger. Unless you have problems with that. Problems? I got no problems. Did I say I had problems? Good. The boy will be flying down Bisolo Boulevard. Yeah, tomorrow around noon. Hey, what's up, Ron? Glad you could join. Wonderful. Yeah, it's good old Carl Kessel, Tom Gremmett art. Then the money should be in my Swiss bank account by midnight. All the money, or I'll be back for a very unpleasant kill fee. Wacko Merc better be as good as they say. While President Clinton met the cyborg Superman, hello, yeah, it's done. Just remember, the kid's all mine. In other news, Crypto? Crypto. I told you his name is Crypto. Like the place Superman was from. Maybe you heard of it. You're tearing me up, because I'm crying inside, I tell you. But the sign says 6 letters. I do 6 letters. Of course, for your lottery winner, Bibowski, maybe I could squeeze on number 7 for a modest fee. Bibbo don't deal with no chiselers like you, Chiseler. Let's go home, Crypto. Bonk. Not much, but I call it home. Really glad you could join us, mate. We've got more in common than you think. What, you a clone too? I meant Metropolis is our town, isn't it? We both look after her in our way. We're both dazzled by her power and her beauty. I'll say, Lex, Superman, you're just in time. The sunset should be stunning. Pale pastels compared to you, love. Tommy, I believe we'll start with a celebratory Chateau de Jonc, 62. Sounds good to me, Lex. And a soda cooler for our young guest. Right away, sir. I'll get right to it. I want you to work with me, or for me. Work with me. Think of what we could do to this town. Of course, I'm not blind to practical matters. WLEX would take care of you and your little friend Tana too. Plus, LexCorp has holdings in publishing, film, video. Fresh, but I don't know. GBS treats me good. I mean, all I gotta do is fly around, act super, stuff like that. But LexCorp covers the world, Superman. Nothing happens that Lex doesn't know about almost instantly. Think how that could help you. Plus, we could work together every day. Wouldn't that be fun? What can I say? I love a girl in uniform. You want me? You got me. Hook, line, and sinker. I'm gonna make it a little bigger for you, so it's you guys. Yeah, there we go. That's better, huh? I'll have the contracts drawn up first thing tomorrow. Then I assume I won't have to notify Cadmus. Cadmus, don't worry, lad. I know all about Uncle Sam's top secret DNA research project. Hard to be a man of my position and not really know, and not know really. Where else would a clone of Superman pop up from? Oh, I suppose Emil Hamilton could have cobbled up something from kitchen appliances and grown you in his apartment. But Emil who? Never met the man, Lex, or been to his apartment. Gotta bail, folks. I'm supposed to meet Tana tonight. Now, before now. She'll kill me. She better not, son. That's a privilege reserved for your new employer. Oh, Lex, see you tomorrow, Superman, after you settle things at GBS. Maybe we can go on patrol together. Hey, Kryptonite couldn't keep me away. If only John Henry Irons would be this cooperative. Housing shortage since Doomsday's rampage. So when I read Clark Kent was presumed dead, my first thought was his apartment's available. What? This is like my place now? Too cool. Don't thank me, GBS isn't picking up this tab. I mean, it's not exactly what I would have picked, but it feels right. Thanks, Vinny. See, our close working relationship could possibly be misconstrued as a small conflict of interests. So I think an impartial third party should manage your affairs, which is where my close personal friend Rex Leach comes in. Superman, my man, the man. 2 words, Rockefeller. That's who I'm going to make you as rich as. Why? Because that's what you're going to make me. Just a joke. Well, but you see, I told Rex, the name's Rex, and this is my lovely daughter, Roxy. That's him. That's really him. Oh, he's cuter than Bon Jovi, Luke Perry, and Robin put together. Before you get too well acquainted, I'll need your John Hancock son. Sorry, Rex, he's just a stud muffin. Okay, where do I sign? My man, now first we get you trademarked, no problem. There. I got favors owed me. Then we issue cease and desist orders on those other super phonies. What? This farce has gone on long enough. Drop it, Tana. No one's going to hurt the kid. No one's looking out for him either. You're using him, Vinny. Simply following your lead, my dear. Or can he only be twisted around your finger to further your career? Which reminds me, take 2 copters with you tomorrow. I think it'll be a big news day. Big news? You've arranged for someone to attack Superman, haven't you? Like you said the other night. That's going too far, Mr. Edge. I won't do it. Perhaps I misjudged you, Tana, but you still have a lot to learn. The kid's bringing in the ratings. You are replaceable. So you better do whatever I want. Tana Moon, high above the Basolo Boulevard in Metropolis, where Superman is transporting an engine from the legendary Metco Railroad. His destination, the Metropolis Museum of Science, where the new exhibit, More Powerful Than a Locomotive, opens today. Look up in the sky, it's a bird. It's a train. Nah, it's Superman, one of them anyway. Careful, Superman, no telling what might happen. You've got lots of enemies, and making more each day, Tana. Lex isn't going to be happy about that exclusive contract I signed. Wasn't using my head. Someone should just shoot me and get over with it. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-dum. There's been a surprise attack on Superman. Explosions have shattered the safety cables between him and the engine. Good Lord, those people. Superman. No time to talk, Tana. I've got a train to catch. King V. Keep on him or Vinny Edge will have both our jobs. Choom. Last stop, all out. Gee, you're lucky this park's closed for a renovation, Superman. How'd you know super hearing, telescopic x-ray vision, some sort of sixth sense? Would you believe dumb luck? Ha ha, you guys crack me up. Save your peepers this time. There's a slime ball that crossed you. Thanks, he caught me by surprise before. That one happened. Uh, yeah. Did you see that, Gordon? He almost took Superman's head off. Tana, you're on. You're on the air. Sploon. Don't worry, Tana. I'm okay. And look who's here, our mystery supervillain guest star. Sign in, please. Call me the Stinger. Never heard of you. That's the way I like it, Superman. Of course I've heard of you. Heard you were dead and heard you were tough. Guess I heard wrong. The battle's moving north toward Hobbs River. Superman's recovered. He's launching a new attack. Hey, this is better than Monday Night Football. Drink to that. Cry and shame it ain't the real Soups. Clinton's pal? Come on, everyone knows Soup's 100% Republican. What a maru. 10-4, buddy. That's Cyborg. Now that's Superman. Why, I ought to beg to differ. The visor guy, the Man of Steel, acts like Superman. My murder's likes the kid. It's the cyborg. Says you. Floosh. Listen up, you yahoos, and listen good. I knew Superman. Superman was a pal of mine. And none of these fancy pants and Superman in my book. Sure, Bibbo, whatever you say. Yeah, I mean, this is your place. Drink to that. Yep, yep. Hey, look at the tube. There's way out there in Bakerline now. Oh, now, here's an original idea. Like, I can't snap this cable by breathing hard. I don't know. I expected more from you, Stinker. Don't worry, you'll get more. And the name's Stinger, Superboy. Don't call me Superman. Can you hear me? We've lost audio, but I see Superman struggling to his feet. It's unbelievable. No, it's unbelievable. He's still on GPS. Make yourself visible, love, and end this farce. Stinger. You're pretty good at beating up youngsters. Care to go a few rounds with a woman? Then no, I can take care of it. I can take him. I can fight my own battles. Oh, I'm Superman. Well, glad to see you're all right. Wouldn't want anything to happen to the newest member of Team Luthor. Yeah, well, we gotta talk about that after we finish with Stinker here. Talk all you want, chumps. I wasn't hired to take on the girl. I wasn't hired to take on the girl too. Good Lord, get out of it there, love. What? Lex, I can't. Yo, sure shot. Maybe you didn't notice, but you missed us. I wasn't aiming at you, you moron. Those are explosive charges. Oh, good answer. Move fast. Disable the bombs before they... My God, I've lost sight of Superman, Supergirl. Cars, buses are falling into the river. This is really happening. People are dying. Vinny Edge arranged it all, and I played along. Near Saturn, an alien ship comes out of hyperspace. Its computers run a routine systems check. All systems go. All weapons primed and fully functional. The ship will reach its target in less than 3 days. And then it's war. Mhm. All right. Well, that is our comic book for... Yeah, I don't, I just, I think this is one where it's touching, it's like touch and go, you know, it wasn't really um, the Superboy kind of story arc where he's kind of like becoming this um, quote unquote celebrity. He's trying to take advantage of some kind of celebrity status. It just was I don't know. It kind of fleshed out his character and the storyline, but didn't win him over any fans. And you know, he has a subsequent run as Superboy, um, and I just feel like you know it was kind of um, it ran for a little bit, but I don't recall anybody really being into this version of Superboy. But I mean, I speak for myself. I don't speak for maybe there are fans out there that really loved this character. But yeah, you know, obviously there's a bit of a turn of events as we get into the story here. But yeah, they just kind of try to bring this sort of youthful, uh, kind of rebellious side to the Superboy character. I don't know. It just, you know, I don't know if anybody was really buying it, but um, yeah, it's definitely kind of a short, sweet story here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Right? It was just kind of yeah. Um, I don't know. As a clone, you know, like obviously, um, you probably, you know, again, I think they're just trying to emphasize the fact that this kid's a clone. You didn't really have, you know, a uh, good role models, I guess, growing up, and hence, this is what you would see. You'd get um, sort of this kid who is overconfident, didn't really have a core set of values, was more about self promotion and things of that nature. So, you know, it kind of works, but at the same time, it's like, you know, um, there's a redemption arc that you have to mold. And if you can't really, you know, if you're not sold on this character, if you're not rooting for him, if you're not vested in this character, no, you know, no amount of redemption arc is going to make you want to, you know, cheer for him moving forward. So that's the thing I worry about Supergirl. I think Supergirl, um, I'm talking about the movie now. You've got Millie Alcock, and obviously she's going to be playing somebody who's, you know, kind of just um, absorbed in kind of destructive behavior, self pity, um, maybe self kind of wallowing in grief and sadness, yet, you know, keeping up a persona of like, hey, I'm powerful. I got my stuff together. Um, and I don't know, you know, obviously if you do too much of that too early in the movie, um, no matter what kind of redemption arc uh, you present, it could backfire, right? It could be like, but I'm again, I think ultimately, we're gonna get the backstory of what happens to Kara, and we all know. I mean, if you read comic books, you know, sort of Kara's uh, family and a segment of Kryptonians um, kind of survived the destruction of Krypton, but it's not, it's a survival that is just prolonged. Eventually, their little terrain of subsection of land that's encased in this sort of like force field uh, is irradiated. It's like the part of Krypton is becomes radiated and it literally is like killing them. So, you know, that entire population dies, and Car's the only other remaining survivor along with her cousin. So, it's like that is going to be the focal point of the story in the movie, and I think that everything hinges on that. Well, they execute that backstory, um, and what we're going to witness is the destruction of Krypton, and also the aftermath of again how her subsection that survives, how they slowly perish post destruction of Krypton. So that's kind of like that's going to be exciting to see on the big screen. Um, just that flashback, just it really is. I know every Superman up to this point, except for the Superman Returns with Brandon Ruth. Um, every iteration of Superman has had some form of the origin story, meaning we see this destruction of Krypton, we see Jor-El send Kal-El off, and we've seen that in every iteration of Superman, minus maybe like uh, you know like an offshoot here and there, but for the most part, every television show or um, I don't think the Superman television series, the most recent one, Superman and Lois, I don't think that one showed it. Just kind of they assumed you already knew it, and they kind of presented Superman in a timeline already where he's like married and with kids and all that. That one, and I don't know if the Dean Cain Superman necessarily did anything with the origin story. They might have touched upon it, but I don't think they did it full on. But and Smallville only shows the arrival and the meteor shower arrival of Kal-El. They don't um, necessarily show Jor-El kind of saying. I mean, yeah, obviously we know the story, so it's not like you have to actually flesh that story out. And the fact that Kal-El doesn't know any of that, right? He's kind of oblivious to like, how did I get here? Where did I come from? And it's slowly pieced together over the course of that series, where he eventually connects with Jor-El through the crystals and the sort of the Kryptonian technology that arrives with him. But yeah, this movie here we're getting the account of the destruction and everything through Kara's memories. And that's never been done before. It's very different, right? It's the origin story of Kal-El to a degree. It's really the end story of Krypton, which is sort of the how origin of how Kal-El's shipped off to Earth. Right. He's a clone. Yeah, yeah. As a clone, he's just a little kid, and he's got all these superpowers. And they could have really done a better. Yeah, I know that. Okay, so just in defense of this team of writers that when they came up with the concept, hey, let's make one of the Superboy, and they say, okay, well, what would Superboy in modern times be like? And they're just like, oh, he'd be probably just like, like MTV, kind of like, rebel without a cause type like character. And, I think in certain respects that works. But I, as a Gen X youth, somebody who would be of, Superboy's age at the time, uh, the whole leather jacket, sunglasses. I just like, who is this kid? He looks like he just came out of Happy Days or something. It just was a weird dynamic for the character. But yeah, again, Kara's, we're going to get an origin story kind of unlike we've ever experienced. And that is sort of like, because normally we have um, sort of a omnipresent view, like like a third wall view of how things go down, right? In an origin story. But this one is going to be a little different in the sense it's a flashback through Kara's memory. So it's going to kind of, everything's going to be centered around her and how she sees things happening, and like her perception of what went down. And I think that's going to ultimately is going to be good for this series. Because you have to remember, she is also, like, people forget, like, Superman is the last son of Krypton. That makes Kara the last daughter of Krypton. She's there as a survivor as well. But she remembers, like, she's the the arbiter of Kryptonian culture more than Kal-El is, because Clark's human. He doesn't have any clue of what it means to be Kryptonian. And here's Kara, who's like trying to be more like fit in on Earth, even though it's not her. She probably looks at Earthlings like, man, this is like Neanderthals like walking around, right? Um, and it's funny because like Superman's older than her, but from her perspectives, like, you're the baby, right? Like, you telling me what to do on Earth. Um, like, why would how does that vibe? It's an interesting dynamic. And yeah, I can, the only other you know time, because there's only been a few times where Supergirl and Superman have actually interacted. And again, one was on the actual Supergirl series, um, with again, forgive me, I didn't watch it. I watched Supergirl, the series, the first season. I did like it. I didn't hate it, but it felt like Ally McBeal in the super, you know, hero realm. So I just, it didn't I didn't really feel like I needed to watch season two. And but anyway, the actors there, they had a relationship. It was Superman and Kara. And then in Smallville, for one season, you had Kara and Superman interacting, and kind of same dynamic. It's like she remembers Kal-El as a baby, and I'm like, she was his babysitter. But like on Earth, he's like older than her, or they're the same age, and he's kind of telling her what to do, but she's like, "No, you don't get to tell me what to do." And there's this sort of conflict of interest and little some tension there. Um, and so yeah, I think it'll be nice because as as long as Superman's history has been, we're talking like Christopher Reeve bringing the character, George Reeve bringing the character in the 50s, and even before that, the radio shows, uh, these radio serials that ran Superman just over the radio, and of course the Max Fleischer animation from the 20s. I mean, it spans a really long, sorry, from the 40s, a really long history of popular culture and mass media content. Like we're talking about radio, early film animation, television, film, television again, film, television again. Like we've had all these iterations, but it just boggles my mind that this upcoming movie, is going to present Supergirl um, probably in the most accurate light. And that's something we need to like pause and say, yeah, right? Because it's like you have this like 80 plus year history and a character who's introduced in the Silver Age who has just a long, rich history of working side by side with Superman. And, Supergirl's had a movie, had television, and now we're getting a movie again. But her character has not been accurately portrayed or fleshed out, or even given the true like um, comic accurate origin. And again, this gun project is going to kind of rectify that, establish it, and we as Superman fans have to like embrace it. Like, yes, they're finally doing Supergirl right. Hopefully, this is the hope. I'm not saying it's going to be done right. I'm actually very fearful that it might be just horribly executed. But everything I've seen so far gives me hope that that's not the case. Like it's going to be pretty accurate. Um, and I think the whole taking, like being a survivor, um, taking that trauma and using it as fuel to um, overcome grief, overcome pain, and become a better person or a better hero. Um, and then, again, that kind of redemption arc is just going to make this character absolutely as intended by its original creators, right? So um, that's something we need to celebrate because I feel like Smallville came close to kind of doing that, but it was like Supergirl's character was just really kind of like one dimensional in that series. The Supergirl series itself was like so kind of, what's the word, like again it's like it's like they wrote her for TV. This is kind of like this. They made her Ally McBeal in the Supergirl suit, and it just was like, what are you guys doing? I know you've got a demographic you have to kind of be popular with, but you're just gonna throw comic book convention out the window and just go full on like, oh, let's make her, this sort of like rom com, like, you know, let's get, put her in a romantic kind of situation and just have her like be this girl next door, going through all these like trials and tribulations of being a girl in the city and all that. I'm just like, come on, like, like totally just uh, ignore the fact that again, she's like this last survivor of Krypton who remembers it all, and that's an important detail. You just can't gloss over details like that and expect comic book people to be just like, oh yeah, that's Supergirl. No, 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 come on. So yeah, Fonzie. Thursday, Friday, happy days. Um, but yeah, that's my 2 cents on the upcoming Supergirl, and I think it'll be fun to have a Superboy. Um, I think there's just a lot of possibilities here with this series. And I'm just thinking, I'm fast forwarding to um, now with Supergirl established, right? And with Brainiac established, because we're establishing those two real critical characters in this lore. You've got Lex, you've got Brainiac, you've got Supergirl. I think this opens the door for the Legionnaires, right? The Legion of Superheroes. And we're talking about the future, right? The the future timeline of heroes that have the ability to time travel and affect timelines and all this. So it's like that's another, as convoluted as that can make storytelling, right? It's kind of like the multiverse. Um, as convoluted as it can make that, I think it can present a wonderful opportunity to introduce these characters first and foremost. Um, Matter Eater Lad, I'm just thinking about Matter Eater Lad at the first appearance of Matter Eater Lad, and he's already there in mentioned in the Peacemaker, so we know he's there. But my whole point being like the Legionnaires being there creates this. It really opens up this universe, and it presents a lot of opportunities to again add a time element, add the space, map out the space environment, bring in a whole slew of intergalactic characters, and we're going to get that. We're going to get Bobo. We're going to get all these like different alien races. So it's an exciting time for Superman in the sense that we've only really kind of like been opening up like a small toy box to play with in terms of the story, right? The boundaries of the Superman character. Well, now you're bringing a bigger sort of chest of toys to play with, like a big, like a large toy chest and with more things to experiment with and introduce. So yeah, that's an exciting prospect, and it's kind of where we are in comics right now, right? That's where comics have come, and I think it takes a lot of delicate maneuvering because with every character you introduce, every storyline you introduce, if it's not hitting, if it's not gaining traction with fans or with the public, it becomes Marvel at the end of the day, right? It becomes Marvel, kind of like trying to figure out, okay, is this going to hit with fans? Is it not? Do we have to bring in like Robert Downey Jr. and kind of like, it's like it just creates Hollywood exec headache. Um, and so, yeah, unless it's done really thoughtfully and purposefully, it can backfire at any second. And so I think this is why it's important to have somebody at the helm like Gunn, who can kind of absorb all the criticism, but also, kind of talk his way out of or talk his way into like convincing audiences, hey, this is um, what you see in the comic books. And as long as this is the thing, like, as long as you're true to the comics, I'm kind of being true to the comics is a convoluted thing because there's so much, divergence in comics. But Gunn right now is drawing from a very specific, set of timelines in comics, um, that, it's like I think most comic book readers, most modern readers of comics, there's one continuity right now, the modern continuity, that includes this book. Unfortunately, it does include this book, but again, I don't think Gunn's going to bring any of these two characters into his universe. I mean, you know what I mean? Kara's coming, but it's not this version of Kara, not getting this version of Superboy. Who knows? Maybe we'll get some version of Superboy at some point, like a time displacement thing, or maybe even a clone. Maybe we will get Super Clone, but my point being, it's like because he has this comic accurate modern timeline to draw from, that can always be his like defense to the harsh critics who are like, dude, read a comic book. It's like if you read, if and that's the thing, a lot of these sort of like quote unquote fanboys are not really reading comic books. They don't really understand. And I think I'm partially there as well. I don't read modern comics. I obviously don't keep up with every storyline, but the ones that read comic books to a certain extent and understand this is comic accurate, this has happened in the comics, and you have that defense, that's something that's powerful. It's powerful. But at the same time, again, that's not going to win over every comic book fan either. Like, you can quote some obscure run and be like, yeah, it happened in comic book, but that doesn't matter. Like, you got to stay true to what most fans regard as like the true canon. So it's always an important thing. And Gunn understands that. Gunn leverages it for marketing, and he's doing that brilliantly with the marketing of this movie. It's like, let's just tell Kara's story. So ultimately, what he's doing with this project, telling Kara's story, and if you are a comic book fan, you gotta let that happen. You gotta embrace it. You gotta support it, not talk it down. A lot of people are opinionated about stuff, and just because you don't like it doesn't mean it shouldn't happen, doesn't mean it shouldn't be embraced. This comic accurate telling of Kara's backstory, the fleshing out of her character, like her presence in this DCU, this environment here that Gunn is building, it's important as Superman, as important as Crypto, as important as Lois Lane. It's like the heart of this universe. And again, moving forward, you can't have Batman, Wonder Woman, all these other wonderful DC characters without Supergirl there. So I think the sequence of how this is coming about, maybe not the most ideal thing, right? You don't necessarily introduce Supergirl before Batman or Wonder Woman, but they're coming. They're coming. It's like one piece on the chess table at a time. They're coming. So looking forward to that. All right. Got some extra goodies for you, kind of, yesterday I went on and shared the weekend haul, and I'm still just beaming from all the great pickups. I just really loved the haul. We picked up 17 books for $50, $55, $56. And they're actually $57, sorry. 17 books for $57, about $3.3 per book. All right, see you, Ron. Yeah, good luck with the chick hatching. Yeah, we picked up a lot of great books, but I just am still, again, beaming from what I just was so happy to pick up. First off, I'm going to show off one of the prize possessions in my collection, and that is this 8.0 newsstand copy of G.I. Joe number 21. It's signed by Larry Hama, and it's also sketched. And you can't see the sketch. You can see it right there in the shadow. It's the Arashikage tattoo. It's their clan symbol. And Larry Hama told me the story of this tattoo, how he came up with this design so this is a Buddhist symbol. There was this fortune telling, like it's basically a series of symbols for fortune telling, and they're all sort of these like series of lines. Every symbol or every whatchamacallit, every pictogram has a pattern. And the way you pattern these lines, it represents a different kind of fortune. And these fortunes, how they would basically determine the orientation of the lines or the symbol or the actual fortune was you took a bunch of sticks and you would throw them, or someone would throw them, and the way these like sticks would, because they have two sides, right? So it could be like a single line or a double line, and the way these things kind of landed and created that pattern would be your fortune. And you just look at the pattern that this thing, your random toss created. These were like yarrow sticks. You would throw those and it land in a specific pattern, and you look at the pattern and image and match it to whatever image it was. and um, that's how you would that's how you get a fortune. And then based on that fortune, the fortune teller would kind of draw upon the conversation they're having with you to determine like kind of your personality, kind of like, your traits, and they would flesh out what's going to happen to you maybe soon based on this kind of fortune that you drew. Um, and this again, this is sort of like how they did it for hundreds of years in Buddhist culture, and it's evolved into sort of modern Asian fortune telling, where they read your palm, they do a lot of the astrology, and this yarrow stick thing is still a thing in a lot of East Asian cultures, where they use again astrology and sort of this method of throwing sticks and telling fortunes. It's crazy. But yeah, Larry Hama was kind of like telling me how he came up with the concept. And I forget what this specific pattern is, but he just kind of fleshed out one of the designs that he thought was like kind of symmetrical and would be easy to kind of replicate. Um, and it's this dash dash dash. It says like a short dash, two short dashes, long dash, two short dashes, long dash, two short dashes, long dash. And he made this the design pattern for the Arashikage clan. So that's a cool kind of history of how he came up with this design and the backstory of, again, the fortune tellers. Now, another thing you have to realize is, blind people in Asian culture, they were actually, if you were blind, you were either like a masseur, you had either massage people for a living, or you did these, um, you were a fortune teller that did these kinds of, yarrow sticks. You could actually kind of read the pattern as a blind person and determine the pictogram fortune. And also you had the, being blind, you had this sort of like, I guess, sensory advantage of being able to listen more intently to the person and kind of drawing all those little clues about maybe what they're feeling or the anxiety that they have around certain things, and be able to tell a more compelling, kind of believable fortune. And so, yeah, this is, Larry was telling me a story. This is something, um, the fortune tellers were a profession reserved for blind people, um, because they could do this sort of like, again, the whole yarrow stick throwing, the whole, being able to pick up on the clues and, you know, kind of weave a believable, this is what's going to happen to you, now pay me kind of thing. So, um, yeah, it's just fascinating how much, you know, knowledge he has about this part of Eastern culture, and how he weaved it into this. Well, how he used those elements to weave something as simple as like a design, right? A design for a tattoo into the lore of GI Joe. I just found that um, fascinating, and such a good conversation with Mr. Hama. I will treasure that engagement, that moment with him, just talking to him as he was signing the books. I will treasure that, as much as I treasure this book. I'll treasure that moment I spent with him forever. And so, yeah, it's just a super awesome sketch and signature by Larry Hama. I wish I had. I wish you know. I wish I had a masseur and a fortune teller for my back. um, how are the chicks doing, Ron? And they just like you counting your chicks before they hatch. All right, now so I just showed off the 8.0 newsstand graded copy of my favorite comic book of all time, the silent issue. As you can see, like there's the design of this in the newsstand really kind of just stands out and pops. But now, I just recently picked up, yesterday, in fact, about the rattiest copy of uh, the silent issue you can imagine. Like, there's just, like staples are barely hanging on here. Luckily there's no rips, but there's creasing everywhere. This copy was owned by a young man named Dale. He's probably my age now, but Dale back in the day owned this comic book, and Dale signed the comic book not once but twice, and he decided to do the bubble yum, word game in this book, and I mean he drew a mustache on Scarlet Jane. It was it's very intense. He loved this comic book. You could tell, he just loved it. As any kid would love this comic book. It's so cool. It's like the coolest comic book a 10-year-old could have or read. Um, and yeah, I just got a kick out of, I covered we kind of went over the interior pages of this book yesterday, kind of read it silently. I was talking nonstop during I should have just revealed the panels and let you guys silently read it, but no, I had to stick in some commentary here and there. But yeah, it's like this is the direct copy, and you can see how different. Let me get it there. You can see the differences between the subtle differences between the direct copy and the. Now these are both first prints, newsstand and direct. The second prints are harder to. The second prints look like this, but this we have the black Spidey, and I think the second print or the in the subsequent prints, and the price is also, I believe, different. The price is different, or the dates are different. There's something different here as well as the black Spidey in the UPC box. So those are the sort of the telltale signs. Don't overspend on a subsequent print. Always know what the first print should look like, and this is again Dale's first print copy there. And so this we picked up for $1 in the dollar bin. I just love finds like that. Anytime you can pick up the silent issue for $1, it's just like incredible. We also picked up first Duke and Roadblock. Roadblock fires like a 50 caliber machine gun. Just he's holding it. It's holding like a 50 caliber machine gun, and he shoots down one of these like planes during a military funeral. And that's how Roblox introduced, Duke and Roblox introduced. Great comic book here as well. Again, read and had both of these comic books growing up, and absolutely read the Jesus out of these two copies as well. I mean, I think my silent issue, all my GI Joe comics ended up with like, without covers. That's how it ended up being. Like the covers would just fall off, and you'd just be stuck with this coverless book that you would continue to read. And yeah, there's just a whole series of GI Joe comics that um, I think my silent issue did have the cover. I want to say that, but some of my other ones, I think like this one might not have had the cover. One of the annuals I had with the mm, with the kind of retelling of the Storm Shadow Snake Eyes dynamic. I think that one also didn't have a cover. I just kept reading it without the cover. Um, that's how good this series was. It's like some of the comic books from this series you just like read over and over and over again. It was just that. I mean, I think I must have read the silent issue like 100 times uh, as a kid. So I just something I just constantly uh, went back to and enjoyed. And I read this last night. Just looking through it, thumbing through it, and read it last night, and it brought back those really really fond memories um, of reading this as a kid as well. So yeah, great pickup. Um, and these are now dollar bin treasures in my collection. All right, that is that. Again, we're gonna be. The other thing I wanted to mention was Jens and I are gonna uh, probably do a live stream together. We have to coordinate like a time to do that, but he and I are gonna jump on and we're gonna talk about um, books that he's planning to press for me. I think he's planning to clean and press them, and right now he's confident with the the pressing portion of the process. But the cleaning part, he's kind of easing his way into kind of like testing, and he hasn't done too many books in terms of cleaning, but he's kind of practicing and trying to build up some kind of uh, build up some skill toward applying toward my books. And I told him straight up, like, hey, feel free to practice on the books, like don't feel like you can't. I mean, I don't want him like tearing or messing up the books, but like in terms of like practicing, racer techniques and all that, and just getting a sense of like um, actually practicing eraser techniques can be rather like it can get pretty uh, hairy if you don't know what you're doing. So I don't know. I'm gonna let him. I told him to take his time first of all, so it's not like he has to rush the process, but I'll just let him do what he feels comfortable with, because I know he doesn't want to like trash my books. And it might be good for him to practice on books that aren't worth anything. Not that my books are terribly valuable, but we'll see. I just I'm gonna give him plenty of opportunities to kind of like, okay, I'm ready to work on the books, and have him um, do what he feels like is his best work, rather than kind of rush the process and have him do it before he's comfortable or confident with uh, uh, the cleaning aspect. And so, yeah, we'll be jumping on soon, and we'll just cover it. And then there'll be a period of time where we'll just kind of set it and forget it. But I imagine by the time summer rolls around, we should be able to kind of cover uh, what was done to the books, kind of like I'm doing with Roger, but it's um, it's different because Jens and Roger are at different stages. Um, Roger's a pro, whereas Jens is trying to get to that stage, right, to become a pro. And I have every confidence that Jens will get there sooner because he has a very methodical approach. And he's got, again, he shared his resource with me. It looks like that channel it really also has a good process and um, kind of tried and proven method. So, yeah, be interesting to see how Jens progresses and uh, uh, manages all that. So excited, excited because um, it's just a fun thing. I think the more and more we're going to hang out this summer, I'm happy to help with just going over this place and kind of playing with everything, helping him with uh, cleaning books or prepping books for pressing and all that. That should be fun. Be like two scientists in a lab. Just um, I'll be his assistant. He'll be the mad scientist, and stuff like that's fun to do on a weekend afternoon. So hopefully we'll have some bandwidth to do that. But for the most part, we're really focused on going down to Portland this summer and hanging out with community members down there. And so we talked about doing an overnight trip. So, where we're go there early in the morning, hunt and do all the things, stay overnight, and maybe do a community trading event, which we'll have to coordinate, but like trade with community members, talk shop, and then drive back. So something along those lines, and we'll see. Yeah, Roadblock is a beast because that's not something mere mortals can do. All right, well, Ron, thanks for hanging out with me, man. Uh, take care of those chicks, and we'll see you here on Friday in the next one, and hopefully we'll have an update on what's coming up on the channel again real soon. But yeah, again, books coming back from Roger. We got an interview with Stephen Yu, creator of Joan of Arc, and we'll have the AAPI Heritage Month where we focus on Asian comic book collectors and creators in the industry and the hobby. And we'll also check in with Jens and Roger. It's going to be a lot of fun coming up. So stay tuned for all of that. We'll see you in the next one. It was an M50 or M60 is one of those. Yeah. Yeah. That's crazy. All right, Ron. Good night, my friend.